It's May 2018 and we're here at Santa Pod for the first ever running of a brand new event, the Red Zone Sports.bet Doorslammers.
Brilliant, it's been the best probably race event I've ever done, in 20 years of racing. It's been so exciting, and look, you've got these three cars which were outsiders racing for the big money.
I mean, I've been racing for a long time, as you know, and my dad. I've never seen this sort of money in drag racing. It's fantastic. I don't know, the people that haven't turned up, well, it's their loss, they should be here.
This is absolutely great. I love it. And the FIA races, I love them too, but this is so different and it's so nice, really.
Something very different for European drag racing. This is a big prize money event just for door cars and is the brainchild of Santa Pod Raceway and Trackback Racing CEO Keith Bartlett. With 6 individual heads-up classes and a big money bracket race, some of Europe's quickest and fastest are here this weekend, ranging from the pure street legal cars right up to outlaw pro door slammer.
Name's Alan Duthie. The car is a Vauxhall Corsa, 2-litre turbo motor. Come all the way down from Scotland for this Doorslammers event. It's the first meeting for me for this year. The car hasn't been out so far, so looking forward to the whole weekend and see how we perform.
It's Mark Mosley from Team Extreme, and I'm running in the 6-cylinder class with my Skyline GTR 32.
I'm Stephen Rabe, Vauxhall Astrovan. It's got a 2-litre turbo in it. Ran a few times last year, run low 10s.
Well, I'm Brian Pateman, and this is my 68 Firebird. I did it over 30 years now. It's been a good car for me, and hopefully it'll be a good car for the weekend.
I'm Colin Morris, and the car's a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro. And this weekend I'm running in a big bracket race and on both of the days.
I'm Michael Holman. It's a Honda Civic making 1433 horsepower, and I'm running a front-wheel drive class.
It's also the first time that many of these drivers have appeared together on the same billing. Richie Webb here in the very quick VW Beetle Cabrio against the Skyline GTR 32 of Mark Mosley. Keel Priestman, with his UK record-holding front-wheel drive Honda Civic, came along with big expectations and huge anticipation for the weekend ahead.
With the amount and number of entries, I think it's going to be anyone's, really. I wouldn't put my money on anybody at the minute, to be honest. There's no one running, as consistent as they should and as fast as they should to just walk it. I don't think it's going to happen. So,
I think you've always got a chance. You've just got to push on and hopefully it holds together and keep it consistent.
And let's not forget, plenty of these cars are 100% street legal but have more power and quicker acceleration than a Formula One car.
It is exciting, and to experience it is the first time in the car was just amazing. It blew me away, and it's given me a bit more hunger for it. So since then we've tuned the car now on ethanol, which I will still drive on the road on ethanol. I got back to the pits and I thought the car was broke, and then we checked it all over, couldn't find anything wrong. I then come back down and then did a PB.
And of course, we're not talking straight off the showroom floor for any of these cars. They feature unique and very high-tech engine combinations, like the extraordinary Terminator Ford Escort of Justin Muscat from Malta, running alongside their friends from Team Extreme this weekend.
I'm Justin Muscat from Malta. The car is an Escort, Ford Escort Mark 1, running a rotary engine, to rotor 13B. The best time so far is 7.18 seconds at 192 miles per hour, which makes it the fastest Ford Escort in the world.
Okay, well I'm Martin Smith and I race with Team Extreme. I raced a Bentley and this weekend we're going to give it a go in Doorslammers. At the moment she's making about 3,100 horsepower with the turbos that she's got on her. She could make more with the bigger turbos, but you can have all the power in the world. If you can't get it down on the track, it's pointless having it, So, yeah, but she's fully taxed MOT. You can use her on the street. She's drivable on the street as well.
Well, this is the Bentley out testing on Saturday, and just watch this car launch. But what about the King Minion Civic of Michael Holloman closest to us? It's already Europe's quickest front-wheel drive car, and he absolutely smashes his own record on this run. So, the format of the weekend. Both days will see the OCS Group Big Bracket Race run to completion with £5,000 to the winner on each day. On Saturday, we'll see unlimited testing and qualifying runs for racers entered in the heads-up classes. As long as drivers put in one qualifying run on Saturday, they'll be in the field for Sunday's eliminations. The classes then, we have Webster Race Engineering 4-cylinder, EBC Brakes 6-cylinder including rotary, Spal front-wheel drive, Turbo Technics True Street, Lucas Oil Pro Street, and finally the big one, VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer. These are the outlaw cars, full tube chassis, carbon fibre bodies, with around 3,000 horsepower, supercharged, turbocharged and nitrous V8 motors. Most of them race in Pro Modified, but this weekend anything goes. There are no rules apart from safety rules, 0 to 250 miles per hour in under 6 seconds. We have 14 of Europe's best entered this weekend, including the numbers 1 and 2 from last year's FAA European Pro Mod Championships.
Hi, I'm Mark Hartenveld. I'm racing in Pro Doorslammer with the Voodoo Hemi Superbird.
Hi, I'm Andy Robinson. I'm running in Pro Doorslammer and I drive the Anger Management Camaro.
Yeah, we're Nicholson racing the Lucas Oil sponsored Lucky Devil Corvette.
My name is Fredrik Fagerström from Sweden. We're gonna race in Pro Top Doorslammer or something. Normally we drive Pro Mod, but now we tested everything is free, it's fun.
My name is Peter Walker. This is a 57 Chevrolet Bel Air and I will drive tomorrow, race tomorrow in the Doorslammer class.
My name is Michael Gullqvist. I'm racing in the Pro Doorslammer class this weekend. Normally we race in Pro Modified, but this weekend there's a different class.
John Webster, Webster Race Engineering, 1967 Mustang with a turbo Hemi, and we're running in the Pro class.
First time out on the track this season, and it's never straightforward getting 3,000 horsepower to hook up and go.
Well, I know for a fact there's a lot of people who've got more power and more experience than we do have, but the level playing field is the new track. Nobody's been down it yet, anybody. Who knows what happens? I think some of the quicker cars could probably overpower everything, and maybe we're lucky then.
Well, we were running in the 590s last year, which is really good, but of course, as always, we change everything over the winter. So we've got some different engine combination parts, so we're having to deal with those and obviously deal with a brand new surface. But we're pretty close and we're pretty happy about things at the moment.
That's Andy in the right lane alongside Marcus Hilton, the Punisher Corvette. Both cars way out of shape and having to back off the power.
As a driver, I've got a right foot, and if I choose to stay in it longer than I should, which we all do occasionally, and when you get tyre shake, the cars do move real quick and it'll change lanes. I've had it. So it's down to me. If I went to the start line worrying about whether the track was okay, whether my car was okay, then I wouldn't race very well.
And as for the new track, well, we go back to February and the entire Santipod asphalt racing surface had been ripped up so that a brand new concrete track could be laid. With terrible weather since then, this is the first time really powerful cars have tried to tame it, so it's a big learning curve for everyone. Also remember, it's their first runs after the long winter layoff.
Well, it's very different to what we're used to with a tarmac. The thing with concrete is it doesn't absorb power like tarmac does. Tarmac is quite a soft compound, it absorbs the power. So now we're actually transmitting a lot more power down and we've got to adjust to that. So we have to get more aggressive with our gear ratios, more aggressive with launch RPM, a bit more clutch, and that's where we start to see performance gains.
Throughout the day, the test runs continue, with drivers getting a little bit further down the track with each attempt. Fast Freddy Fagerstrom with the wild pickup. FIA number 2, Jimmy Orland, still not quite there yet. No problems though for Andy Robinson with the quickest run of the day with this low 6-second pass, and some great onboard shots here showing Andy completely in control. And the beautiful 71 Pro Dutch Cuda of Michel Turen from the Netherlands. Chief starter Ian Marshall takes a deep breath as the car edges into stage. But problem straight away. Michel's way out of shape and slams into the wall at half track. Body panels flying everywhere, but luckily no major damage to the car, and more importantly, no injury to Michel. And now the car everyone's been waiting to see. Europe's first true custom-built Pro Outlaw car of Matthias Volken.
Yeah, I think it's the best car in the world. We're really happy with it, and Jari Wickel has built it from the beginning. And it has a Brad Anderson engine and a Lenco drive in it. And this is the first time that we have tried out to go a full track. We only have to drive a half track earlier in the States last year.
And wow, a storming run here. 565 at 257 miles per hour. That certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons.
My team is amazing. They went with me 8 times to the States last year, and in 2 weeks we put the car together and go here and living our dream. So it's really nice. I'm getting goosebumps of it when I talk about it.
And we'll be back after the break with our first look at the OCS Group Big Bracket. So, with the pro teams getting ready for their next run down the quarter mile here at Sansepod, it's time for our first look at Saturday's OCS Group Big Bracket. And what a mixture of cars taking part. Like this Mark 1 Cortina and the honky-tonkin' 2 Chevy Nova in the right lane. That's real automotive history out on track. Teams coming from far and wide to take part this weekend.
I'm John Martin. We do an Escort Mark 1 and with Cosworth engine. We're going to race in a 4-cylinder class in Doorslammers.
My name is Sylvie Lavaux. I'm from France.
Hi, I'm Thorsten Middendorf, and this is my FVD class renner.
Lee Childs, the car's a Plymouth Valiant, and I'm racing in the big bracket.
My name's James Wilday, racing a Mazda RX-8 in the 6-cylinder class, but I'm running with a 2-rotor.
As well as qualifying for the heads-up classes, Saturday also included the first of the weekend's 2 big money bracket races, with over 40 drivers entered and sponsored by the OCS Group and Williams Brothers Racing. You might also have noticed that the lanes have been renamed red and black. That's because for the first time ever in European drag racing, it's possible to bet on the race outcome, all thanks to event sponsor redzonesports.bet and their real-time betting app. Bracket racing features a handicap system with drivers posting or dialing in their expected times. The slower car leaves first, and in theory, both cars reach the finish line at the same time. But if you go quicker than your dial-in, you're eliminated. So quick reactions and consistent driving are key in this sort of racing. Burnouts completed, and it's Chevy Nova SS taking on Lee Childs with a Valiant called the Eliminator.
I'm always in a good mental state. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, run your own race. Don't worry about who you're racing. That simple as that.
So let's see if it works for him this time. Oh no, he's left before the green, so he's disqualified. It's a red light, so the automatic win going to John Parker in the Nova in the right lane, or red lane. The win light's already on there. Lee was one of the favourites today. One final race from this round, and keep an eye on the blue Chevy Nova of class sponsor Dan Williams. A huge wheelie. Did that break his concentration? Well, he's pretty used to wheel stands. But he's up against a tough competitor, and the win going to Simon Goff in the Camaro. OCS Group cars always put on a good show here at Sansepod. Back with VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer qualifying now, and on board with Andy Robinson for the burnout. A huge amount of tyre smoke in the car. It's been getting warmer as the day goes on. That always makes a difference to track conditions. And everything happens so quickly in there. 0 to 237 miles an hour in just 6.2 seconds. An unbelievably extreme ride.
Before, with track temperature, we knew if it was going to get above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, that is going to start getting greasy. Now with a concrete track, it's not the same deal. And also with regard to the amount of rubber that's on the track, you know, we're used to seeing a lot of rubber on a track. Now with a concrete, you don't need nearly as much. So we need to adjust what we're seeing and then compensate with the car to make full use of it, and we're not quite there yet. It's going to take a bit of practice. We've got 3 runs on it, and I think we're good for a 6.0 or a 5.9 with what we've got in it now. I think ultimately we'll be seeing some really stellar performances as the years go on.
Sweden's fast Freddie Fagerström, always well known for his storming burnouts, but this one's almost the full length of the track. So Freddie left lane alongside David Vegter from the Netherlands. Have they got a handle on the track yet? Well, issues for Freddie there, but David's got it sorted. 593 at 242 miles per hour.
It was a bit tricky, especially the first 100 meters. It's tricky, but we got around that and we got it going fast.
Sweden's Jimmy Orland in the old 51, the UK's Kev Slyfield in the Blown Bird closest to us.
It still needs some tweaking out there, but it's going to be a fast track. I mean, we ran 591 on the third hit here, and good mile an hour. I know it's going to be fast.
Matthias Volken out again in the Blackbird. What's he got for us this time? Well, it's another quick one. Whoa, a 5.53 at 262 miles an hour. Amazing. The quickest ever door car run outside of the USA.
It was a fantastic run. We decided after the last run that we're gonna try out the left lane too, and it hooked up really well from the beginning and did a 0.89 in a 60 foot, and it's just it's never stopped giving power. It's an amazing car to drive, and it's a dream come true. We have talked a lot about this, that someone should put a race like this together. So we're really grateful to be here.
I come from originally a street racing background. Way back in the 70s, we raced here, but I also raced those cars on the street. So I might race them on the street Saturday night and have them here Sunday racing at the track. Sorry to say illegal street racing, and not for quite the same amount of money we got up today, but still big money. And that's always stayed with me. And most of the Swedish drivers in the Pro Doorslammers here also come from a street racing background in Sweden. Then you couple that with all the rage of the last 2 years on Discovery Channel, all the street outlaw shows, and it's kind of quite the thing again. And this sort of street racing mentality is big with everyone. What I wanted to do is bring street racing onto the racetrack. So the Doorslammers is literally street racing mentality, street racing style brought to the racetrack. Safety, fire crews, run over the full quarter of a mile, prep track. Okay, we've had a couple of cars crash this weekend, but you know, it's a safe track. You go street racing, it's not safe.
The track is pretty good. You can tell if you go 89 to the 60 foot,
yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy to do it here in Europe and with a car that's made for a quarter mile.
Doorslammers is a great idea from you, and let's see what it brings in the future.
Late afternoon, and we've reached the first of the weekend's big money races. It's the final of the OCS Group Big Bracket. Billy Gain in the Vauxhall Victor, Colin Morris in the Morris Boys Camaro. But it's a red light in the left lane. Billy throws it away, so Colin Morris is our first winner of the weekend. Well done to the Morris boys.
Bottom line for me, I can't speak for all of you yet, I think we've had a great day, and I hope you all feel the same. The whole idea of the Doorslammers is fast cars, if you've got a fast car, bring it to the Doorslammers and prove it's fast. And if you do win, you win big money. So I think with that said, I'm going to hand over to Colin, and we're now going to give our first presentation of the new Doorslammers to the winners of the big bracket race at the Doorslammers 2018. Thank you all.
Taking home £5,000. Come on, let's hear it for Colin Morris! And that big check, come on, once again, £5,000.
So at the end of Saturday's racing, we have our first winner, but we also have qualifying lists for all 6 heads-up classes. And normally the matchups for tomorrow's eliminations will be based on those. But this is a street race style event, so tomorrow's pairings will be drawn randomly out of a hat, or in this case, a crash helmet. So the stage is set and every driver is gathered around the stage for the draw. Who will have to face that 260 mile/hour car in the first round? Who in Spal front-wheel drive will have to face European record holder Michael Holloman?
Dan Frost! Well, if you couldn't get Keel, we wanted Nicholas or Dan, and he's got Dan. What a matchup!
It doesn't matter who you get, it's an open draw, we'll see who you draw, but how do you feel about tomorrow? The weather should be the same, so track conditions will be the same, and of course, in theory, everyone would think you're going to win, but you and I both know drag racing's not like that. Anything can happen, so how do you feel about tomorrow? Looking forward to it, I guess.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm looking forward for tonight, for the drawing. That is going to be something special. It's a new game for us too. It's a whole new grip for the drag racing, and that's fun to be a part of it. And as you say, it doesn't matter if you're first or you're number 16. As long as you're in, you're in. Yeah. That's all that counts. Tomorrow is a new day. Let's see what we can do.
And on to the feature class, VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer. With 12 qualified drivers and a 16-car ladder, there'll be a few buys up for grabs. Remember, if this was a championship race, the fastest qualifier would meet the slowest qualifier. But who will get what in the draw?
We have number... Can't see it. Number 1.
Number 1, he's up in the first pairing, Matthias Vulcan. Okay. He's going to be taking on...
Oh, he gets a bye. Unbelievable. Number 7, Mark Hartveld, the Voodoo Heavy. And he's taking on Andy Gus Robinson. Oh, if ever there was a marquee matchup, that's a pretty good one.
And that buy for Matthias could be quite useful.
Yeah, well, we went 257 and it was okay. When we went 262 miles, it collapsed. It didn't like the air and the speed. And this is for real. Pro mod guys, they're happy to run 590. I mean, this is a long way from them, and this is really, really crazy to go this fast with a car. The last 200 meters, oh man, they're tearing up the stuff on the car. And I mean, we haven't done it before with this combination, so we had to change some parts to do it. I mean, it's not easy.
With the lane draws made, it's time for the all-important eliminations. So it's time to hand over to track commentator Daryl Bradford for round 1 of VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer competition.
Well, the wonderful, unique format of the Doorslammers this weekend here at Santa Pod is going to throw up some great matchups throughout race day. The fact they're not in an elimination ladder, they're actually drawing lots out of a hat or helmet, as the case may be, is going to be just wonderful. We got Bruno Bardo from Switzerland with the Gotham City Corvette. Bruno's had a bit of a hard time getting down this all-new concrete quarter mile here at Santa Pod. He's taking on Kev Slyfield. Kev with big hopes and dreams of nudging towards that magic 5-second zone with that beautiful Thunderbird. Here we go, they're both away almost together. Kev with tyre shake and backs out of it. Bruno doesn't. Pedals it and legs it through to a 6:30 at 2:28. But on days like today, it's the win lights that are the most important thing. You can see them both leave the line. Kev darts for that centre line. So does Bruno, but Bruno pedals it a couple of times, drives it down the centre line too. That was a close one. David Vegter from the Netherlands, the pedal to the Metal Camaro, and Andy Robinson built car taking on the Punisher from Switzerland. That's Marcus Hilt. Both of these legal Pro Mod cars. Dave goes red in the far lane. It will be Marcus Hilt moving on to the next elimination round, but Dave sets his new personal best, 5:88 at 2:40. However, he wastes it on a red light. Still a great start to this season for him and the team. Marcus, though, gets that all-important win light. Wayne Nicholson taking on Jimmy Orland with the old 51. We've seen anything can happen so far here today. Jimmy Orland is out in front. Wayne gets out of shape and backs out of it. Jimmy and Magnus, 5:92 at 2:40. I keep having to stop myself saying on to round 2 eliminations because it's not. It's in the draw. Andy Robinson taking on Mark Hartveld on the far side. Both away together, lots of tyre shaker. Mark Hartveld out of shape in a big way and straight head on into the barrier. You can see the heat haze coming off the car. The crews are on their way to the scene. Mark, I'm sure you can see him moving in the car, is absolutely A-OK. I don't think Andy Robinson had any idea what happened behind him, because when Mark Hartveld hit the wall, he was long gone, which was a good thing. But the car just kind of noses into the wall, still at speed, and makes a mess of one of the most beautiful pro-modified cars in Europe. That methanol fire obviously took hold a little bit more. The fire crew on the scene doing everything they can to put it out, but that is a real sad sight to start out the 2018 season, and especially if your name's Mark Hartveld. Well, Matthias Falken just broke the beams to take his first round win, but what makes his car so much faster than the rest of the field?
The main difference from the FIA Pro Mods is that it weighs a little bit less than their cars. This weighs about 1,075 kilos with Matthias in it at the start line. And we have a huge screw blower on it. The FIA guys have a roots blower on it. And it makes a lot of boost, the screw blower. Other than that, it's kind of basic on the engine side. It needs to stick together for 400 meters, and that's our big problem. We normally run an 8-mile racing with it. It's an outlaw car. So after the engine, we have a converter, and then we have a 2-speed Lenco behind it. So it's no big thing there. The biggest thing is all the electronics we use. We use electronics to monitor everything on the car, and we can say we have a traction control on board, but it doesn't work as you think it is. But it's a huge tool for us. It's a Davis controller. It's magnificent for me as a tuner. I see everything what it does with the wheels, with the drive shaft. And I see what it does with the ignition, and I tune from there.
So taking a quick look at some of the highlights from the huge Spal front-wheel drive class now, and with that European record set yesterday, you'd have to bet on the King Minion being there in the final. So this round 1 matchup sees UK's Dan Frost burning out here, taking on that European record holder Michael Holleman from the Netherlands. Dan is one of the top racers in the UK's front-wheel drive drag series, but for this weekend, he's bolted on a set of traction bars that he doesn't usually run. Well, Dan's doing all he can here, but Michael's ahead right from the start, and he takes the win with a slow for him 9:20. Very quick run for Dan, though. Round 2 saw UK record holder Keel Priestman with the Civic taking on Carl Goldsmith in the VW Golf. Keel's another one of the heavy hitters here this weekend, and it's a storming run from Keel. He must be odds-on favourite to meet Michael Holleman in the final. 8:59 at 175 for Keel, taking the win. Random pairings, and here's Keel pushing around for the quarterfinals.
That last one looked quite impressive.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. Fastest I've ever run.
You've got some good opposition here, so are you pushing it that little bit harder? It looks like you are.
Well, yeah, we are at the minute, but try and take it easy on this one, trying to just keep it in one piece for the time being.
And here is Keel racing for a place in the semis. He's up against Paul Bargate in the Scirocco. He should have this one covered. Oh no, no, he's red lit. He's gone before the green, handing the win to Paul in the left lane. Paul proving the point that to finish first you have to finish. And he's the man through to the semis. Giant killer of the day so far. And then in the semi-finals, favourite Michael Holloman failed to appear due to engine damage, so it's going to be complete outsiders in the final. Over to you, Darryl, for VP Racing Fuel's Pro Doorslammer.
Thanks, Bryn. Andy Robinson with the NGK Anger Management Camaro taking on that other pesky red car from Sweden. Jimmy Orland with the old 51. I was around at Mantorp years and years ago when this car actually debuted, and he wasn't in Pro Mod that weekend. Wasn't Jimmy driving either, but they were the quickest car on the property, and they weren't even in Pro Mod that weekend. Andy Robinson, no, this car looking to go back into the fives on a regular basis. The beautiful new racing surface here at Santapod is the place to do it. Andy goes red by some margin. Jimmy Orland actually gets away with one. He shook the tyres, pedalled it and got back in it. 6:32 at 2:34. You would not normally expect to get round Andy Robinson, but that time it was good enough. Well, Matthias Falken with the only spaceship in the field, pretty much, mainly because it goes that fast. That car is kind of related to a Pro Mod car, like a Vulture is related to a chicken. It looks, for all the world from the outside, to be very, very similar, very much the same as Mickey Gallquist's Camaro on the far side. However, underneath it is one completely different animal. As if things go to plan, you're about to see. Well, Mickey G looks like he's got a bit of a lead, but then the power, my goodness me, just disappears into the distance and still clicks it off early. 578, 210. Wow. Pick your jaws up off the floor at your leisure. That car is normally built to run over the 8th mile. They've had to change the gearing and a few other things to get it to run over the full quarter. And my goodness me, does it go. So needless to say, he's in the draw for the semi-final round, as will one of these two be. Crowd favourite wherever he goes in the world. Fast Freddy Fagerström from Hudinger in Sweden, taking on the Gotham City Corvettes of Bruno from Switzerland. Now, normally, this would be Bruno's, and I say that in the politest way possible, because Bruno's very consistent in the 6.0s and in the 590s. However, this weekend, he really hasn't had it all his own way at all. Freddie's been putting down some pretty good runs, and he's got Jürgen Leanders here from Sweden helping him tune the clutch to try and get that truck down into the fives. Well, Bruno's out the throttle early. It will be Fred into the semis, but a pop from the engine before the finish line. He's going to have some work to do before they come back round for the next round of racing. Highlights of our other classes now. Lucas Oil Pro Street, Dave Smith in the Bailiff Job Challenger against Dave Mace, airing out the nothing but trouble Vauxhall Cresta. A terrific wheelie, and he still goes 878 and 161. Let's take a look at that again. That was a bumper scraping wheelie. And in slow motion, it looks just as beautiful as it did in real time. The fact he kept his foot in it all the way through was immense. Martin Smith in the Bentley against Joe Stevens in that wonderful Sunbeam Stiletto. That basically is an engine with a small amount of car attached to it. Well, Martin Smith looks like he gets off the line well, but in the far lane, Joe Stevens does a better job of pedaling the car. Don't forget, these are real street legal cars, folks, that go 182 and 163 miles an hour. Joe Stevens taking a win that time round. Webster Race Engineering 4-cylinder up next. John Martin from Malta with the Hexatech Escort taking on one of the UK's finest, Darren Scammell. Spends a lot of time here in the summer at Run What Your Bones and various other events. John Martin, though, from Malta. This car is terrifically quick. Malta is famous for a lot of things. One of the biggest ones is escorts, would you believe? They are incredible. 781, 169 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon with what happened yesterday. You know, not for 1 minute did I think that I was going to be there, last man kind of standing. I rode my luck, and you know, I winged it. You know, I'm not used to the sportsman tree. I'm used to the pro tree, and you know, it worked out well. And you know, I'm over the moon and just didn't even think it was going to happen.
Semi-finals of the OCS Group Big Bracket. Colin Morris with a 9.54 dial-in taking on Lee Huxley at 8.65. Lee with a better reaction time. And it's all about the win light now. And Colin is out. Lee Huxley takes the win. Getting near to the finals at the Red Zone Sports.bet 2018 Doorslammers. But first, a real street-style grudge race call-out between Kev Slightfield and Andy Robinson, both already eliminated from the actual competition. And what a view that was. Well, especially for Andy Robinson. 6.02 at 2.42. Kev had some really good short numbers, though. 6.56.
Yeah, we are pretty lucky. We had Byron. And I still have my car not running properly. But ending in a semi, that sounds good.
Yeah, we've been doing fairly well. I had to make a couple of pedals last round, so last round wasn't that great, but hopefully we're back on the right track again.
Yeah, we had some problem with the valve train. We lost some get cut, but we find two of them, but one is still in some place in the engine. So but what you do? Gambling, everything's gambling.
Seems like the one common denominator with all of our semi-finalists in Pro Doorslammer is the fact they've all got issues this weekend. However, they're still inching closer. They've only got 2 rounds to go to take the biggest prize in European Doorslammer racing ever. Marcus getting set in the Punisher. Freddie in the family pickup. Sorry about the big pause, but that's what you do when Freddie does a burnout like that. But there we go. Burns out all the way to the finish line. He's taking on Jimmy Orlands. Now, Fred's been in the 6.0s on a number of occasions. Last round, as he said, he had a problem, but then so did Jimmy Orland. He shook the tyres. He only ran in the 6.3s. This is very, very doable for Freddie Fagerstrom to take him into the final. Both these guys had a long, long tow to get here this weekend, and they haven't come just for the weather and the beer. Well, maybe Freddie has, but there we go. So, Jimmy, sponsored by Summit. Nudges into stage in the near lane. Fred on the far side. Jimmy gets to jump off the start line and, well, gets a very, very lucky round win. Freddie Fagerstrom, my goodness me, he's looking at Jim hopping and bumping up there, running a 7-second run, thinking, I should have beaten that. So the seemingly invincible Blackbird of Matthias Vulcan. Last time he was here, actually, he was in a regular Pro Mod car. But since then, racing has taken him in a different direction. And now he's got the quickest Doorslammer in Europe. But the quickest Doorslammer in Europe will feature no more in this weekend's proceedings. He's got a problem with the engine. There's oil on the racetrack, and Matthias Vulcan has clicked it off, and he's being pushed back out of the way. Marcus Hilt gets possibly the biggest gift since he got his first train set when he was a kid. Unbelievable. Everybody was betting on Matthias winning this weekend. But to win, you have to be in the race and you have to finish. Marcus Hilt with a very lucky run. 7.11, 195. He doesn't care. He's in the big money final.
I'm feeling fantastic. Yesterday I had a bad day, second round red lit, and that sort of knocked my confidence a little bit. That's quite rare for me, but I've been trying some new stuff. Today it's just clicked right. I dodged a few bullets earlier on, raced some really good races, and obviously racing against Colin in the last round. Wow, I was amazed to get that one. 007 reaction time, I'll take it. Yeah, car's going amazing. It's just, I can't believe it.
Don't know what to say really, I'm completely blown away.
But the whole format of the event, it's different. I guess that's just makes it even better.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, it's nice to enter my road car into something that it's eligible, and you know, where with circuit racing, they move the goalpost every time I did something and won a race. So in drag racing, I seem to be having a bit of fun and I'm really enjoying it.
Well, everything can happen. With a lot of luck, we're in the final, basically. I mean, we haven't done a good job today. First run was real good. The other two weren't, you know, we got lucky. One guy red lighted and Freddie broke the belt and we had trouble getting down. So we were first over the finish line. So like you just said, anything can happen. So let's see how this final goes. We're just happy to be in the final.
What we're going to do now, we're going to draw for lane choice. Keith's going to have 2 chips. Okay. Okay. In one hand is going to be a black, which is a left lane. In the other hand is a red chip, which is a right lane. One of you will choose. That's how we're going to do lane choice.
Okay.
You're going to choose.
I'm going to choose.
Okay. Black lane, red lane.
That's cool.
Okay, done.
All right.
Well done. Good luck, guys. Congratulations on getting this far.
Yep.
And not may the best man win. You've both done very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, be safe, have fun out there. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sunday's OCS Group Big Bracket Final, £5,000. That's not euros or dollars, folks. That's real UK pounds for the win in this one. Jens Konecki in the Oldsmobile Rocket. That really cool car. Did actually used to be a pro mod, this one. 8:25 dial-in against Lee Huxley. We heard from Lee a minute ago. He dials 9:54 again, so he's going to be off the start line first, but it's all about that win light. Jens Konecki's got to try and run him down without going under his dial-in. The win light comes on in Lee Huxley's lane by quite some margin. Unbelievable. Brian Huxley on the start line. Very, very proud of his boy, I'm sure. ABC Brakes 6-cylinder final, £2,000 to win this class. Justin Muscat with the Terminator from Malta, taking on Mark Mosley with the Team Extreme GTR 32. So much work this weekend for the Terminator team, but they've finally ran out of spare engines, gearboxes and parts. They've been taking it to bits almost every single time they've been to the start line. He's just had a horrible time as Justin, and he does again, unfortunately, rolls through the beams. The team put in such an effort to make it here. Mark Mosley takes the win with an 883. But the two teams are the best of friends off the track. So there you go. Justin Muscat gets a well-deserved round of applause from everybody here at Sansepod Raceway. It's an awful long way to come and race. Spal front-wheel drive final, £2,500 for the win. 27 races down to 2 cars. Stephen Ray with the SD Autos backed Astrovan. Adrian Sully with the late Goose Audi A3. And it is Stephen Ray the winner with a 1086. Well done to him. Turbo Technics, True Street, Gary Carr with the Camaro against Mark Biggers with that Pony Mustang. Big wheelies from that car this weekend, and he's out in front. I think I'm right in saying as well, this is Mark Biggers' first ever competition weekend in any class, and he goes home with a big trophy and a big check at 9:38, 148 miles an hour. So Webster Race Engineering 4-cylinder, £2,500. Up for the winner of this one. John Martin, the Hexatech Escort from Water, has run strong all weekend, down in the 7.4s against Chris Todd. Problems though for John Martin off the start line. Can Chris Todd pull out the biggest giant kill of all time in this class? He does. 10.01 at 143 beats a 10.15. Drag racing is one of the toughest sports to bet on. Well done to him. Lucas Oil Pro Street, again, 2.5 Gs for the win. Mark Todd in the freight train against Joe Stevens with that Sunbeam Stiletto. Don't count Joe out, even though his car is in the 8s. Mark is down in the 7s. It's all about the finish line charge, though, for Mark Todd. 791 takes out an 836. He is $2,500 better off. Well done, Mark. As we move into the big one. VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer. £10,000 for the win, £4,000 for the runner-up. I can't imagine they've made a gentleman's agreement to split it in for this. It will be winner takes most of it. Very, very handy though that the runner-up does get 4. That kind of takes the sting out of losing a little bit. Although to be fair, when you're in sight of 10,000 quid, you'd like to get it done. Marcus Hill with the Punisher. His quickest ever elapsed time is a 6.2. However, he's got nowhere near that this weekend. Jimmy Orland has been in the 5.8s before. He's been in the 5.9s this weekend, but has had all sorts of issues throughout our elimination day. Looks like Marcus Slightly gets the jump off the start line, but Jimmy with another expert pedal job. That is unbelievably close. It's Jimmy by that much. 6.56 takes out a 6.64. Magnus Pedersen and the team get the job done.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, please, Jimmy Orland! Here we go, here is Jimmy Orland, and here's the check you want, Jimmy. £10,000. Goodness knows how many kroner that is, but it's a lot.
Just want to tell you, this win had nothing to do with luck. We were just here to collect the cash. No luck at all involved. We did a great job. We actually stunk up the place, but we won it. So next weekend, I hope we do a better job, and I hope we do, get down the racetrack every round. But it was a great event, and thanks everybody for coming. And it was nice to be here. Thank you, Keith, for putting this show on.
As I said to you yesterday at both the driver briefing and last night's draw, this was my baby a year ago. This is what I wanted to put together. Thanks to all of you, it's been a huge success. So before you thank me, let me, on behalf of everyone at Trackback Racing and Santapod, thank you. Thank you very much.
That was a big undertaking for us to price up a sport that's never really been priced up before, so we're still learning on it as well. But there was a point today I told Keith that we were one bet away on our website for drag racing being the top sport of the day that had bets on it. So you got pipped by one bet by horse racing, which is like the sort of the king of betting. So you've done pretty well to just lose that in a close race.
It's been a fabulous event. It's gone as well as we could have hoped, and I think Doorslammers has arrived. This event's on the calendar already.